Where I'm Coming From, 60 Years of Jamaican Music and 60 Songs. August 6 marks the 60th anniversary of Jamaican independence. To celebrate, we've selected one song from every year of the island's incredible musical history since 1962. Patricia Mesquino's most recent stories. In the 60 years since Jamaica achieved its independence from England, on August 6, 1962, the tiny Caribbean nation has created some of the world's most influential musical styles, including ska, rocksteady, reggae, dub, and dancehall. Likewise, over the past 60 years, Jamaican artists have distilled inspirations from various parts of the world into distinctive sounds that, when coupled with the island's astonishingly prolific recorded output, has made the land of wood and water, as its first inhabitants, the Arawak Indians called it, one of the most significant musical destinations in the world. To celebrate Jamaica's Diamond Jubilee, we've compiled a list of 60 songs, one song per year, to tell the story of the island's musical evolution. Some tracks were chosen because they heralded a new direction in sound, others sparked a movement, some engendered controversy, marked a turning point in an artist's career, or had a significant impact at the time of their release. Because Jamaica has been blessed with an abundance of extraordinary musical talent, the list features just one entry per artist. However, those who are recognized for a solo effort may also be listed for recordings they made as part of a group or in collaboration with another performer. Because there were just too many records to choose from for any given year, some important releases may not appear on the list. But that's just a reminder of how amazingly rich this history is. Derek Morgan, Forward March 1962. Share. Photo, David Corio/Redferns. We're independent is the joyous refrain heard on Derek Morgan's Forward March, which conveys the exuberance felt by Jamaicans when their island, a British colony since 1655, became a sovereign nation. Ska was developed in the late 1950s in Kingston studios, and the emergent sound on Forward March is still tethered to the R&B shuffle that influenced it, though it is slower than the ska beat heard on recordings made in the next few years. In 1960, Morgan occupied the top 7 positions on the Jamaica charts and is regarded as the king of ska. On August 6, Morgan, now 82, will be honored by the Jamaican government with an Icon Award at the Independence Grand Gala in Kingston. The Maytals, Never Grow Old 1963. Share. Photo, Michael Oaks Archives/Getty Images. Here ska is played at a faster tempo and has grown into its distinctive Jamaican identity, an ideal complement to Frederick Toots Hibbert's glorious, soulful baritone and the sweet harmonies provided by Henry Raleigh Gordon and Nathaniel Jerry Mathias. Produced by Coxsone Dodd for his Studio One label, the Ska-Delights provide the rollicking rhythm track. Toots grew up singing in church, and the spiritual fervor in his vocals can be heard throughout his repertoire. Music fans around the world mourned Toots' passing in 2020, but his music lives on. Never Grow Old is as timeless as its title suggests. Millie Small, My Boy Lollipop 1964. Share. Photo, Michael Oaks Archives/Getty Images. At just 17 years old, Millie Small recorded her version of Barbie Gay's 1956 R&B single in London, featuring English musicians playing Jamaican rhythms for the first time, according to the session's arranger, lead guitarist, and Island Records' then A&R, the legendary Ernie Ranglin, now 90. Produced by Chris Blackwell, My Boy Lollipop was the first hit released on his Island Records. Blackwell licensed the song to Fontana Records in the US, where it reached number 2, introducing ska to an embracing international fan base. The Ska-Delights, Guns of Navarone 1965. Share. Photo, David Corio/Redferns. The Ska-Delights were comprised of tenor saxophonist Rolando Alfonso, bassist Lloyd Brevet, trombonist Don Drummond, guitarist Jerry Haynes, drummer Lloyd Knibb, saxophonist Tommy McCook, keyboardist Jackie Matu, trumpeter Johnny Dizzy Moore, and the ska supergroup's sole surviving player, alto saxophonist Lester Sterling. Together for just 14 months between 1963 and 1965, they recorded hundreds of instrumentals for various producers, but were primarily associated with Coxsone Dodd's Studio One label. Guns of Navarone exemplifies the Ska-Delights' effervescent playing and sophisticated jazz phrasings. Hopeton Lewis, Take It Easy 1966. Share. Singer Hopeton Lewis was 19 years old when he recorded Take It Easy, said to be the first song to incorporate a rocksteady beat, that is, the relaxed, stripped-down rhythm that followed ska, and reggae's direct forerunner. Lewis wrote the song after leaving a recording session and noticing everyone around him moving at a much faster pace than he was. To better accommodate Lewis' vocals, Trinidadian-born guitarist Lynn Tate, living in Kingston and heavily in demand on the studio circuit, is credited with telling the musicians in his band, the Jets, to slow down the tempo, and following his direction, the rocksteady beat was born. Prince Buster, Judge Dredd 1967. Share. Photo, Larry Ellis / Daily Express / Halton Archive / Getty Images. The song's title character was an Ethiopian magistrate who dispensed harsh sentences to Kingston's rude boys. Prince Buster made 3 records featuring the Judge Dredd character, which inspired a controversial British artist by the same name, a comic book hero Judge Dredd, and two-tone ska band The Special's law officer Judge Roughneck. But Prince Buster's influence extends far beyond a fictional judicial persona. A hit-making producer, successful sound system and record store owner, Buster, born Cecil Campbell, in the earliest phases of the island's recording industry correctly believed, before many of his colleagues did, that the key to Jamaican music's success was to emphasize local culture and expression. Larry Marshall and Alvin Perkins, Nanny Goat 1968. Share. A song about unrequited love inspired by the Jamaican proverb "What sweet nanny goata go run him belly," which cautions that what seems good to you now may harm you later. Nanny Goat is cited as the initial recording to segue from rocksteady into a distinguishable reggae beat, as indicated by the pronounced bass, played by Boris Gardner, and looser guitar strums, but its highlight is the delightful swirling organ riff played by Jackie Matu. In 1992, Jamaica's Penthouse Records revamped the Nanny Goat rhythm, or riddim, in Jamaican parlance, which yielded several hits in the dancehall era, including Marcia Griffith's Get Closer and Tony Rebel's Chatty Chatty Mouth. Desmond Dekker and the Aces, Israelites 1969. Share. Dekker's spectacular vocals, complemented by Hux Brown's equally stellar guitar work, Jackie Jackson's booming bass line and the Aces' echoing support, drove Israelites to number 9 on the US charts and number 1 in the UK, an early breakthrough for reggae. It is unlikely Dekker's international fans understood the poignant, patois lyrics of this sufferer's anthem, "Shirt them a tear up, trousers a go / I don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde," meaning he's too poor to afford decent clothes and hopes his desperation won't drive him to criminality. Dekker's haunting portrayal of the conditions endured by ghetto strugglers presaged 1970s roots reggae's ongoing depictions of societal inequities. U. Roy and the Paragons, Were You to the Ball 1970. Share. Photo, David Corio / Redferns. The Jamaican art of DJing, or toasting, rapping over a record's instrumental side, originated at sound system dances in the late 1950s. U. Roy wasn't the first to DJ on the mic, but he transformed the practice into a hit-making art form that influenced subsequent generations of dancehall artists, as well as early hip-hop. U. Roy's Were You to the Ball is a versioning of popular vocal group The Paragons' hit of the same name, that is, an alternative cut with the original vocals mixed down or removed, leaving room for U. Roy's inimitable toasts. The Abyssinians, Sata Masagana 1971. Share. Photo, David Corio / Redferns. 51 years after its release, Sata Masagana, which means give thanks continually, stands as an inspirational anthem of African identity and repatriation, rooted in Rastafari teachings, because of the disparaging views toward Rasta at the time of the song's 1969 recording. Producer Coxsone Dodd reportedly refused to release it. However, years later, lead singer Bernard Collins said that the trio, which includes brothers Donald and Linford Manning providing the glorious harmonies, always intended to release the song on their own Clinch label, which they did 2 years later. The song's hypnotic bass line, played by the Heptones' Leroy Sibbles, the self-proclaimed king of reggae bass lines, is one of the most recycled in reggae. Jimmy Cliff, The Harder They Come 1972. Share. Photo, Michael Putland / Getty Images. Director Perry Henzel's landmark film authentically and quite vividly depicted the culture that birthed ska, rocksteady, and reggae, and the corruption within the island's music industry. Jimmy Cliff's charismatic lead character and the accompanying gritty realism is responsible for The Harder They Come's enduring appeal. The adapted soundtrack, featuring Toots and the Maytals, Desmond Decker, the Melodians, the Slickers, Scotty, and of course, Jimmy Cliff's title track, written especially for the film, established reggae, and the complex culture that birthed it, as much more than a novelty beat. The Wailers, Get Up Stand Up 1973. Share. Photo, Michael Oakes Archives/Getty Images. The Wailers' 1973 albums Catch a Fire and Burnin' were significant vehicles in reggae's global spread. Bob Marley and Peter Tosh co-wrote Get Up Stand Up, from Burnin', a clarion call for justice, and they trade lead verses on the song, supported by Bunny Wailer's stirring harmonies. After the trio split, each Wailer recorded his own version of the quintessential protest song, and its urgent credo has since been adapted to various freedom struggles, from Chinese students marching in the 1989 Tiananmen Square demonstrations to indigenous Australian social movements to Amnesty International, with each vowing to never give up the fight. King Tubby and Augustus Pablo, King Tubby meets Rockers Uptown 1974. Share. Dub, the art of stripping out vocals and manipulating instrumental tracks on a recording, is primarily credited to the visionary experimentation of Osborne King Tubby Ruddock. Melodica player Augustus Pablo was one of the first producers to utilize Tubby's dubs on his releases. The title track from their first collaborative album, King Tubby Meets Rockers Uptown, was many people's introduction to dub, and stands as one of the finest examples of the genre, highlighted by King Tubby's creative sonics and Pablo's resonant, ethereal melodica phrases, referred to as the Far East Sound. Burning Spear, Marcus Garvey 1975. Share. Photo, Tom Hill/Getty Images. The title track to Burning Spear's third album, his first collaboration with producer Jack Ruby, wasn't intended for commercial release, but rather as a dubplate, customized recording, exclusively for Ruby's sound system. However, that changed following audiences' enthusiastic response to Marcus Garvey, which celebrates the Jamaica-born Pan-Africanist whose philosophies are core tenets of Rastafari. Over a propulsive rhythm, blasts of horns, and the formidable bass brandished by Robbie Shakespeare, Burning Spear's hypnotic chants connect the horrors of slavery with the austerity of Jamaican life in the politically fractious 1970s. As a means of preventing further devastation, Marcus Garvey words come to pass / can't get no food to eat / can't get no money to spend. Peter Tosh, Legalize It 1976. Share. Photo, Richard McCaffrey / Michael Oakes Archives/Getty Images. No other reggae artist has championed herb as passionately, or suffered as many severe beatings at the hands of authorities because of his uncompromising stances, as Peter Tosh. Tosh's ganja anthem includes a list of marijuana's healing properties. It's good for the flu, good for asthma / good for tuberculosis, decades before the term medical marijuana came into common usage. The song was banned in Jamaica upon its release. Despite Tosh's early rallying cry and the innumerable pro-ganja reggae songs that followed, herb wasn't decriminalized in Jamaica.